Welcome back to One on One. We're talking about Sunsites-Pearce this morning, and with me is Murray McClellan, who's a new director of the Chamber of Commerce, and also now joining me is Mark Spencer, who is with a new venture called Morningstar Air-park.
That's correct.
And Mark is a pilot and has been for several years, and has his own plane, which you keep, I assume, at Wilcox, right? At the airport.
Right now we're actually in the Benson Municipal Airport.
Oh, okay. Trying to think of exactly where that is.
A little bit west of Sunsites, maybe about 30 miles.
Oh, okay. Okay. But you would like to have an airplane a little bit closer to you, huh?
Absolutely. that was the motivation behind the dream, actually.
Tell me about Morningstar. Is it actually there now, or is it just an idea at this point?
Well, it's a lot more than an idea. We've gotten the very difficult part, as you might expect your pilot yourself, I understand. Understand that getting an aviation use approval of land anywhere is sometimes difficult. In Sunsites, it was a little bit different. We called together the community, much like the golf course salvation, if you will, had several public meetings and ended up with nearly 100% support of the airpark concept. That started about 2.5 years ago. Since then, we have gotten all of our permits, our FAA permit, our special use permits for the runway, did all our engineering, and have our final plat, and hope to have our public report in about 60 days, at which time we'll start selling lots.
So you didn't have any problems with people worried about the noise, about maybe you having F-16s fly in there or something like that, huh?
Actually, we did. There was people that the greatest challenge we had was actually educating the public about general aviation and what it meant, what an air park really was. The fact that you'd only see maybe 1 or 2 flights a day out of a private residential air park. We actually did sound measurement pressure levels of semi-traffic in the area and existing irrigation pumps on the farm that we purchased to build the air park on. And we're able to show the people in the community that the sound levels of the aircraft will actually be lower than the irrigation pump sound levels that are of the farm now.
So you did your homework on this.
Yes.
Let me show you where this is going to be located. It's actually going to be right in Sunsites, right across the highway of 191 there, and Birch Road. If you know where that is, we can go in a little bit closer, and you can see right there is where the air park is going to be. What constitutes an air park? Houses and runways. How does that all come together?
Pretty simple concept. It's pilots living with their planes, and if they upset their wives, sometimes living in their planes. But my wife and I have been in Arizona for about 35 years now, and we discovered Sunsites like most people do by accident and just fell in love with it. And for an air park, you've got to have good weather, which we absolutely have. We have 340 days of sunshine a year in southeastern Arizona, open spaces, and a reason for people to be there. Sunsites, the phrase my wife and I coined was rural solitude with urban convenience. It's only 53 nautical miles from Tucson International Airport, so via aircraft it's a 20 to 25 minute flight. And there's lots of facilities in the little town of Sunsites. There's medical facilities, there's chiropractors, dentists, auto parts stores, even a hardware store, a bank, everything that somebody would need nearby. And yet, because of its rural surroundings, we enjoy that rural, you know, the dark nighttime skies and
have everything you need, but you're in the boonies. That's what you like, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's what you really, really like.
Yep.
Here's a picture. It's an aerial photograph of the concept which Mark is talking about, and this you call Phase 1. And here you can get an idea. Explain how the homes will be along the taxiway.
Okay, the total project is about 448 acres, and we've designed it as a conservation subdivision, and staying in concert, if you will, or harmony with the area. We'd like it to remain rural. So on the whole 148 acres, there will be, I'm sorry, 448 acres, there will be about 142 lots. And you can see the lots are on cul-de-sacs that radiate out from the main taxiways and the runway. You can see we've cleared the runway area there. And it'll be the size of a typical small municipal airport, about 4,400 foot long runway. You land on the runway and taxi to your home, park your plane in your hangar.
So you buy yourself a lot and then you build a home. Restrictions on the homes? They have to be a certain size?
Yes, we do have, we actually are modeling after a very successful air park in Queen Creek, and we actually hired the same attorney to do our CC&Rs. There's some very particular things about air parks you have to pay attention to. But there will be minimum square footages and lots of rules that make sense
One thing you have to realize with an air park is that usually the garage is bigger than the home because it also becomes a hangar.
Yep.
Usually they combine the two, right, for the airplane and the cars.
Yeah, you know, because we want to, the theme of the air park is Southwestern Ranch, so we're going to have a lot of white rail, split rail fencing, a lot of grass. We're in the grasslands of Arizona. We do have a limitation on the size of the hangar. The hangar cannot be larger than the home.
Okay.
Because we're not trying to have an industrial-looking airport. It is a residential community geared towards aviation.
Can they build the hangar before the home?
They can build the hangar before the home. They would have to build the home within, I believe our CCNRs require it within 3 years after building of the hangar.
Okay, I was going to guess 5 years.
Yep.
But 3 is reasonable.
Yep.
3 is reasonable. I'm thinking now. I'm thinking. The runway, what kind of airplanes will it handle?
Our special use permit allows for aircraft of 12,500 pounds and under, 49-foot wingspan and under. So,
okay, which would be like what?
Everything up to the smaller King Air. We are allowed very light jets, a whole new class of jet aircraft that are actually quieter than the older single piston powered aircraft. Mm-hmm. We are allowed certain types of rotating wing or helicopters. So really, just about anything a person in general aviation would want to fly will be able to land at Morningstar.
Okay, when do you think you're going to be building the runway and selling lots?
Well, you see by the photograph we've begun to clear and level the runway. Construction is scheduled to begin sometime around the end of March. We believe, actually we already have several lots in reservation at this time. We began taking lot reservations with a filing of I forget the name of the form, but with the Arizona Department of Real Estate. Mm-hmm. And we have several lots already in reservation.
Okay, and it's not cheap building a runway, is it?
It is not. It is not.
Not at all.
Nope.
Will this airplane right here be able to land there?
Yes, it will.
That looks like a Cessna 172. Maybe.
It's actually a tail dragger, so I think that was a 180.
It is, isn't it? Right, yeah,
yep.
It is. You know the plane.
Yep.
You probably were following it, taking the picture. That's an amazing photograph. Murray, you said that this air park is basically the second step, and
yes.
from the golf course, getting it fixed up, and this is your next step to make this a destination area.
It will, Jimmy. It will bring us closer to bringing Sunsites to the point to where we have demand for other commercial and business services.
How are you going to limit that, or are you going to limit it? Do you just want, obviously you don't want uncontrolled growth, but how much growth do you want in Sunsites?
We have what's called the Mid-Sulphur Springs Master Plan that Cochise County passed in 1997, which is basically the build-out map of that area. And it's very conservative in its approach. 80% of our valley is RU4. It's a minimum of 4 acres per residential lot once you get outside the village of Sunsites primarily.
Okay, sounds like you are on the road. Sunsites-Pearce, it's on the road just south of Wilcox. So if you live in Cochise County, or even if you live in Tucson, take a weekend sometimes, head out there and take a look at this beautiful community. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you, Jimmy.
And we're going to come and see Sunsites-Pearce.
Great.
Have a great day.